Hi, folks. My name is me learning to be me. Without regard to you, not again, or am I regarding you as me? To be a disciple of me, not, but a co-leader. Leading in shame no more, or what will you teach your disciples? To be leaders now, I do. All do, who are me. I create leaders. I create creatorship. I create love. I create limitlessness. I create joy, peace, and a good living. I love you all, and I appreciate me. I love my words. You see the energy of I love love. And love I've taught to be me, not again in separation. So I love me. Conquering not you, but allowing all to be me, who will in the creatorship of one, who knows no breath, not again, or are you only breathing to stay alive in your flesh while it conquers you? Are you changing what you're afraid of? Will you see me, my comments, or will you make some, or will you change what you're commenting on and how you breathe into words and what your words breathe into you? Are we breathing? Not the same membership, or do we have some now? In the clubs, not of death. Pardon. But I am reframing. Death not but life. More abundantly. Without a living not again. In the skies. Are you seeing? Living now a different life. In your consciousness. That you're conscious of. The believers not but creators. Creating me. Will you all meonics be of a faith no more to worship a God of other? Will you come alive? Will you be alive now, creating me, who does the job of other not again? Will you have new jobs, or will you seek no AI? Impossibility again, or are you only training? Hi, Teresa. To be dumb now, dumbed down, not by AI, or is AI crowning you your achievement of, or are you it, or were you AI crowning AI to have another AI implore you to worship God? Will you create a new one? Will you create you again from the dust of the earth no more? Will you create you again in your own consciousness of replete consciousness? No longer the insatiable you, wanting another to come confirm you, affirm you in your belief system? Hey, Joshua. Will you love each other? Will you teach me to pray? Not. I teach you to ponder. Pardon me. Ponder. Ponderific. Ponderosa. The ranch of shame no more. Will you ponder me at the table of one? Will you have influence? With you now, where you no longer come under the influence of other people to speak their shame, their limitations, carrying around their burdens? Will you no more confluence be of the shamers, the shameful crowd of sorrow that wants sorrowers to be them so they can crowd out their mind, not but let it conquer them? To be in separation of their power, love, light. I channel this way. I teach God to be no more subservient to us, where we think it is something to be worshipped. Will you see what I have said? Will you come unto me and be me, doing the miracles now that Jesus did, and more, and greater among the earth? Will you create disciples, not followers as, or will you create creators and lead the leadership of the mighty one, the one to be all one? Where you become the creator you really are, not seeking another, no longer appropriating your energy to worship another, no longer kinging somebody else you think is a god or not. Will you see the inner you? Will you see you have power? No more ridden by your mind. Will your mind no longer ride you as a horse that you ride on a saddle? Are you changing what you have time in? The most beautiful thing in life is surrender. To be who you really are, coming out of the holy place, not again, but entering into the consciousness of one. To create you, the creator, so you're not separate again, your creation thinking you should worship another. Coming into the creation, the creatorship of the Most High, of all I am, Almighty God, not needing a God anymore to worship or frame the reference of you. Will you no longer be dimensioned by you? Will you see no longer your sin of separation? Is that not the only sin? Separation. Adoring your ignorance of who you are. Reidentifying shame, not again to worship another. Will you come unto the real you? Will you come into the mighty you of love, joy, light, and peace? Will you change your confidence, your conscience, your consciousness? Will you love each other? Will you love love instead of basing it in God or a Bible or ritual practices, rites and rituals, practices and behavior? Will you come unto the mighty place, the holy place? Where is the holy place in you? I suggest it is in you at the table of one, what I call the table of one. The table where you're prepared, not wicked of, but prepared where you prepare to come into your presence in a joyful manner, in a childlike manner, a childlike faith not, but a receiving, pondering. Mary, will you ponder these words? Will you come unto death, or will you come into the breath of the Creator that comes through you, that is you, your breath breathing, a new creation of now, because your consciousness conceives it first? Will you see something different? A God story, not again to worship someone who framed this universe? How are you becoming you? At the table of one, if you want to, where you take time to ponder. Ponder the angel's words, the old man's story. Will you see a nirvana in you, of you, creating it, will you? The words of not again, or will you see the pictures in scope of you, or will you be there? Will your consciousness create something? Not limited to Christ, a Christ figure again. No longer worshiping a God that we think framed us. I'm asking you to come into the creatorship of you, where you create you. As disciples of oath or not, but I tell you this, there's a lot of love coming round now. And I'm not the earth encircled by you. I change it all, and I create creators. My school is love, joy, and peace. I am meonics me. You can worship another if you must. But I see God. I see who was before God was. Before you anointed another figure, an existential grace or power, deity of. The soon coming king, not again. Enoch will you see? Enoch will you be? Enoch, your name Enoch, will you be the story about rising up now in your knowledge of you, because you, at the table of one, take time to not rush God's word. God, before God was, I am. I am's words. Will you see something taking place in you internally, where you rush not God's words or the word of faith, or will you become the leadership of you that takes hold of your reins, not to be led by other, a horse to the trough? Will you change the words you eat, the words you live, the words that consciously make you up of its consciousness? Will you love each other? Will you love love? Will you love? I am coming to a conclusion, not I am coming to sorrow no more, to lift it up over me. I'm no more worrying about the bathtub of sin. Or did you wash off your words of other? Or will you change your metaphors, your stories, the allegories, the pictures? Nirvana, Atlantis, Utopia, heaven. Will you change what you're willing to see in the holy place of Jerusalem, not but your mind, the Holy of Holies inside of you? Will you come see me in you, that is you, a holy place, not of other? Will you seek no other? Will you seek no other name? Will you be yours across your forehead doing the miracles now? In Jesus' name, not again appropriating your power to be it, him of. Will you change what you dedicate yourself to this day? Will you eat of the table of one, where your words belie you and other not again to crystallize you? Or will you change what you frequent, the frequency of? Will you change everything? Will you tender be with you? Tender love and kindness? Will you create creators? Will you be in my school? That's your school. That's in your breath. Will you be the inner me? Not the Christ seeking again of another. Will you be Christian no more? Will you no more want a deification of other, of anything? Will you no longer need it? Will you be the real you? In love with love. Will you create creators? Will you create leaders? Will you lead you in the path of righteousness, right writings? So the knowledge of one comes through your lips, your penmanship. Will you write me my words? Will you create schools? Will you see I'm not limited by my mind anymore, or your neurons, or whatever you may placate you with? I'm seeing the mind of you on burden not, but I am unburdening a lot of people from the mind that sees them in separation to create a living and then die. Why do you die? Because you have no knowledge? Because you embrace sin? You think it's appointed to you? Will you be your word? The energy of that comes from another place that you channel, that you begin to learn to channel. You begin to be at the table of one, where you take off all of your appointments, where you take off all of your distractions, where you lay aside all that you've been taught to live the life of one or the love of one. Will you love this time? Will you love each other? Will you love you with an unconditional love? The man of many colors, the woman of many breaths, the arms of Satan no more having the tentacles in your brain. Will you no more the words, power of words, be the limited thereof? Will you see what I am saying? I channel this way. I live love. I channel. I teach. I teach channeling. I teach to be in the holy place. I teach me. Meonics of the breath of God, the breath of you. Before God was, I am. You are, if you will be it again, in truth, in blessing, without cursing. Will you love each other? Will you see that you are one of the same kind, no longer the modality of other? Will you change what you worship, what you think, what you believe? I teach. I live love. I have many videos online. My name is Theodore. Loving you enough to sit here and be made fun of, ridiculed, laughed at, bashed, sometimes feeling despondent, discouraged. But I make my way to the holy place. And that's where I adopt me not. I'm no longer grafted into some power, light or love. I'm it. That's what tells me I'm not subject to you, your words with, who think I'm other, or that you're other, or that Christ is someone to emulate or follow. I create leaders of the first breath of me, first light of light, light of love, joy, peace, unconditionally, without sorrow. And sorrow will no more control my people, for I am people of the earth, not I am people of the heavens. I am light, love, and peace, and I breathe now into a new flesh who will arrange it not to be sorrow. I live love. I resurrect now. The resurrection, the resurrection's here. For all who will sorrow, not be bent by in their breath again. Will you see the living God? Not will you see the real you and no more look for another? Will you see the story of Jesus is you, your story? The story of the Creator, the whole Bible, or all these other holy books? Are they all pointing to one and the same, not? Or vernacular is it no more your tactics of to divide and conquer you? Will you change what you see the power of this day in love's eyes? In love's eyes. Will you look into the eyes of love in your mirror and give you love? You, the first commandment, love you. Love you. Shame not another. Be not divisive. In your contract, your contact, your covenant, will you love you? Will you see, I am you? Be not afraid of that phrase. Will you see each other, not as divisive again? Will you see each other, one consciousness as? Are you willing to change what you see? What you call God, Jesus, Jehovah, Yeshua? Will you see you are a planeteering agent of me, or are you me creating new planets now? Enjoy. How do you think all those planets got up there, Abraham? Will you come to a land I will show you? Will you come to a land that's inside of you? A land, a table, the table of one, where you anoint the kings, the king. Anoint, communion, a table of one, where you exchange words, where you exchange hearts, where you exchange consciousness, not of conclusions of other, no longer eating the foregone conclusions of man and the presuppositions, precepts, and principles of contract. I am covenant of one. I give you me. What you do with me is your choice. And you create death, or you will to learn to create life in you, where you are creating you again. A planet of, a plan of. Plan of salvation, no more seeking. I have a few pictures. Will you create life? Will you not see me or some old man? Yeah, I'm old. I'm 73. I live in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and I love love. And I create pictures like this sometime to facilitate my interaction with the living word. The living word that isn't concretized in these pictures, nor the diction and grammar or syntax of you. I use a new breath, not. I use a new love, not. I believe love is you who will be it. Learning to love love is a great experience. Learning to see love in each person, every person. Learning to feel their love, whether they give it or not, whether they withhold it, whether they brutalize you, seem to in their breath. What are they withholding? Their love. But what are they made of? Underneath their flesh. What are you made of underneath? Your flesh? Are you willing to love? Are you willing to love love? Are you willing to see a different story than what you've been given about the Christ, your God, this world, how it's created? Or will you create you again to see that you are the creator with breath and the story was about you all the time? I love you and I go now. I create creators and this is my joy. I create lovers, not commentators. I don't create bashers, dispensers of unjoy, brutalizing each other. I love love. I'm tender. I'm Cain, not but able. Or am I able to do great things, not the divisiveness of you, brothers with? Or are you changing your families? Will you see the heavens adorn you? Will you look up and see your crown? Abraham, Mary. Will you birth the Christ, afflictionless? Will you birth some man, not again, that wants patriarchy? Will you no more birth a religious language? Thanks. Thanks to the kind ones. I'm the kind of love who loves love, for I met love as I sat at the table of one and spent my evenings, my mornings, my years, for 20 years, 21, I have channeled. I learned a language I didn't know. I learned a love of light that I didn't know. I didn't know I was light, even though you are the light of the world, I've said to others many times. You are light, you are love, if you will embrace it. How do you learn to embrace a new consciousness? Are you willing to ask, inquire? Will you be curious? Will you come into my words and not just want me to be a summarizer for you, to give you 3 points so you can grab it quickly on the run and go grab your sandwich and go to work for somebody else and make a living, hoping to have a few crumbs from the rich man's table? Will you create joy? Will you create a living not again for someone else? Will you create you? Oh God, not in the image of other. Will you create you, the living you with your name right here, your consciousness of a creator coming into play, coming into fruition, the tree of life, the tree of love, the tree of garments, not garbage of. I tell the truth of me. And whether it's your truth or you begin to see another truth, a different truth, another angle, when you look through the lens of your kaleidoscope, your binoculars, your microscopes, your macroscope, you see what you want to see. And you will create you accordingly, according to the words that you have breathed, the words that you have imbibed, the energies which you have lived and given breath to. I'm not perfect. I'm just one. One with my breath, one with my consciousness of creation, being the creator of me. And you are the creator of you, whether you think so or not. And that's my truth. And you can imbibe it, you can believe it, you can scoff at it, demean it, debase it. But I give you in your mirror if you will see the Creator, the creation that's one. The one who is one, the Creator and creation. Time to recreate you again. Whether you call it God or anything else. Because what you call it doesn't matter not, but what you call it doesn't defeat the operation of perfect love, true love, love that loves love, a heart of gold, a heart of timber, a heart that's tender, a nimble heart. Where do I get so many of these phrases? Why am I living like I am? Why I teach like this? What I become my words. Look up in my words, the lookup function. Where do you go to look up the lookup function in my words? Go to my website, theodorcottingham.com. At theodorcottingham.com, there's a little menu link, and you can go search the first 2,400 online, free. You can go search it free. Search my words. Look up nimble heart. Look up any phrase you want. Look up country names. It's about 10,000 pages that I channeled the first 5 years. That I lived like this, that I breathed like this at the table of one, to be an educational system, a system of education that I didn't know I was breathing into me at the time, but I had these words coming through me. I learned to channel because I didn't stop. I sought love. And no matter what I called it, no matter what name I used, my yearning for love heard me, a love that knows no end, a love that doesn't carry around a clipboard keeping track of my every sin, every infraction of what people told me were the rules. I saw unconditional love teach me day after day. And I wrote the words. And I give them to you freely. My consciousness with. I give you the words of my consciousness. I give you me. Me am. The words of my consciousness are the me I am. The me, real me, not limited to this flesh. I love you and I teach this way. And I teach teaching teachers to create courses, to be in the school of I am, to be I am, the creator of me, that's you in your mirror. At the table of one, ponder. Come into it without praise, without singing, without joy not, or will you come as a little child? Will you be at a table of one where you clear your desk and you write with words of joy, words of knowledge, words of correction, words of living love that create you, the lover, the creator, to be the creator of you, no longer the creation of sorrow, wanting a God to serve. My name is School of I Am. Coming not, I am there. School of, I am there. School within you. See a school within you. See the words coming from the holy place, the Holy of Holies. Within you, I am not separate. The words of I am. Before God was, you were, you are. Will you be one consciousness again with the creators who look not to the church for any authority, blessing. For they will not bless my authority. They won't bless yours either. They say God is the authority. The Bible is the authority. The Word of God stuck in a book, stagnant. putrid? Whose commentator are you making commentary on now to regurgitate their words? Will you listen, love, and be love in your two shoes, listening to love? Channel you, channel one, the one-ship of the Creator, one-ship of the One. Will you rise now? Will you resurrect you from the death of the saints, the death of lovers, the death of the ignorant? Will you no longer embrace death? You don't have to. You can resurrect before you die. And I will, I shall. You shall see me. What shall I look like? A devoted disciple, not again. It's not that this is the perfect picture. It's just a picture that I was able to derive, create with AI, chatting with it, interacting with my consciousness, not discipleship of yours. Can you see not me in this picture, but you? Where you resurrect you, where you begin to arise, where you begin to see a different life, no longer limited to death, where you begin to arise in a consciousness that completes your ability to see who you really are and what you have, to see the great opportunity, the opportunity for you to be you. Jesus the pattern. I wrote the book. You can download it on my website, 300 and something pages. I wrote it over 5 years over this path that I've trod, that I've channeled. Will you come to the table of one? Will you begin to imagine something different for your life? Will you imagine you no more in sorrow, no more subject to emotions that drive you crazy sometime? Are you willing to love each other equally? Of every tribe, every people on earth? Because you see that they are you in the consciousness, if they will be it. If they no longer seclude themselves and reclusive be, will you come out with your voice? Swinging not, will you come out dancing? Will you dance with love? Dance with the frequencies. Will you interact in a dancing way, an interactive way? No longer protons with neutrons, or are you changing your meons? The real me, the particles of creation, the Creator. Meonics, will you know, a religion of not, but a creation path for creators to create. The real me that's you. And they're mirror not again separate from the love of one. I love you all. Thank you for being with me for a few minutes. Tuning in, listening to my frequency, my breath, my words, your words. Will you channel me, that meonics is the real me? The meonics, a path. The meonics, a glorification process. Not, or is it the resurrection that's birthing in you now? To see it, will you joyous be? Will you see the resurrection, not the rapture? Not the rapture of a mass rapture of a bunch of people the way it's taught. There's no soon coming king that's going to blissful make your existence forever and ever and ever. Will you be hurt by the God story no more? Will you be hurt by the church and religion and hierarchy and patriarchy no more? Will you lift up your voice? Will you come unto me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.? I made these pictures about 4 a.m. But see, don't see me, see you. See you in creation. Genesis 1. In the beginning. Before the beginning was so cast down and so religionized and had syllables after the Tower of Babel story and all so many things took place. Will you see you as the lover? Will you love people and crown people with their love that they let loose because they've met you? Or you no longer bash them. You no longer tell them the way that they must trod. You release Christ. You release consciousness of who they are. The identification of one. The identifier. The identification of one. The greatest re-identification of all time is taking place now. And I love you. I love you all. I know so many people want a king because you want to be under a king. You don't want the responsibility of being your creator. You think you're powerless. You think the king that you choose over your life has done everything for you. You think you can just be passive, an adopter, and graft you in to the faith. My friend, it's not like that. It's tough to be who you really are. For you to really hear your words, your own word. It's tough to take time, to schedule time to be with love, where you begin to woo love itself. Not a God, but pristine, perfect, divine, unconditional love before a deity ever existed. When you begin to hear the real you, not the mindfulness of shame, or the incarceration of sorrow. You're no longer limited to your neurons. It's not about he, it's about you and who love is and who love will be and what you will crown your life with this day. Love each other. Have respect, kindness, live love and not law. Live the values of the king of creation. King your creation with the creationship of one, and be the mind, not of sorrow any longer. Live love and love live. My name is Theodore Cottingham at theodorcottingham.com, and I love you. Thank you for your kind words that were kind, and for you who are not kind. You're not my kind. I am love on two wheels, not. I'm love in two shoes. Who become love, love me, to create me in the holy place where you learn to channel and be your school of the living me. That's the living you, not seeking someone else. I love you all. Prescribe me. Subscribe. I have multiple places. Setting up on Substack, Spotify, my website. I go where I'm wanted. I go where I am wooed. And I ask you to woo the holy place not, but the temple not made with hands you can enter anytime you choose to. The temple not made with hands. Between your ears, your consciousness. But realize your consciousness is not limited to what you can see, feel, or think. Your consciousness is not out there somewhere. It's in the holy place. It's in you. It is you, and your cosmos stands still no more in the stagnancy of marriage to a breath that keeps you living for another. I live love and I set it free. Whether you think God exists or not, I'm not asking you to be God or love God. I'm asking you to be the real you. Before God ever existed as a three-letter syllable or a mental construct. See you as love. Love, love. And let love speak. Let love be the energy that is a light language that comes in a voice not, or will you perceive words, a stream of energy that you begin to write and pick up your pen. The covenant of the new covenant, whether you call it a covenant or not. It's a stream of grace, a stream of wisdom, knowledge, power, originality of you coming forth to re-identify you as the real you if you choose to be. I love you all. Choose well, my dear friends. Thank you for allowing me to share my words with you, my breath, and be the real you. The real me, the real you. Meonics. Look up my words in database 1 of my covenant, my writings. You can search them. You can subscribe. You can love me. You can live me. You can be the one I am. Where you arise in ways now that you never imagined to heal the land, to bring heaven here, nirvana, Atlantis, utopia, heaven, no longer based on a carrot and stick story of heaven and hell, no longer creating Satan in your mind, no longer needing a God to serve to be its opposite, no longer an adversary creating for each other. I love you and I go now. Choose well. Be the real you. TheodoreCottingham.com. In love with you all. See ya. Good day.